Hi, everyone. This is Dave Horner with Small Town Life, and we're on the Studio 25 podcast network, and today we're going to talk about a day of giving, but a whole lot of other stuff. I've got Kristen Smith here and Kayla Ellis from Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida County. Welcome, ladies. How are you doing today?
Thank you.
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
It's awesome. I don't know if I met up with you guys. You were having kind of a briefing about it, and we talked about it. I don't remember who was in the room that day, but I thought it was important since it's coming up September 20th that we get you on here and talk about that. Kind of timely thing, right? So first, I want to know a little bit about both of you. Kristen, we'll start with you since you're on my right here, and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm actually a Boston native. I grew up out in Massachusetts, and up until about 6 years ago, that's where I resided. My background has been nonprofit and higher education work for the last 25 years. And when my husband and I had an opportunity to relocate near some family here in central New York, we snagged it. And here we are.
Kristen, I thought I was the only pilgrim up here in upstate New York. But I don't ever tell anybody. I spent too much time in Texas, so I don't ever say I'm from Massachusetts, all right?
Well, I do, and then I usually ask for it not to be held against me. So.
Or Texachusetts, as we used to say, right?
Yeah,
there's that. Kayla, how about you?
So I am originally I'm from the Utica area, born and raised. So I grew up in East Utica. I went to Proctor High School and then on to MVCC and then SUNY. Well, it was SUNY IT when I was there, but SUNY Polytechnic now. So have been an area resident for years and years. Right out of college, I started working in marketing for ECR International, which a lot of people know is the start line of the Boilermaker, that building right there.
Oh, wow.
So started doing marketing there and moved on to the Community Foundation after a few years in their marketing department. And so I'm the business communications manager, and here we are, yeah.
And here you are. And Kristen, what is your position there?
I'm a fund and systems strategist, so I help support the work of our development team in working with new donor fund holders, creating funds that will then benefit the community by giving back.
Okay. Work with the big bucks folks then, right?
We hope, but even the small dollars help too. So
yeah, that's true. You watch all the campaigns today, and everybody's wanting $5 every 10 minutes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the Community Foundation. Whichever one. The marketing girl is definitely going to have. I know which one's going to tell that story.
Right. So the Community Foundation, we've been around since 1952, serving Herkimer and Oneida counties. So we have really our mission is to engage, invest, and lead to ultimately bring us to a more vibrant region with opportunity for all. So we work with local donors. We work with local businesses that want to support the community and the nonprofits in it. So essentially, we're kind of like that middleman where dollars come through us, and we're able to direct them wherever that donor wishes. We also have donors that work. They want an active role in grant making. We call those donor advised fund holders. So they actually work with us to direct their own dollars to nonprofit organizations locally. So we're really just there as a leader in the community, a resource.
And the benefit of those donors funneling their giving through the Community Foundation is that they benefit from our investment portfolio.
Right.
And being able to have our investment team help manage all of that, do all the nitty gritty that people like myself, for example, don't have the brain for. And then we're helping them grow their dollar really, with the investment pools that we use, and be able to put more money back out into the community to support the nonprofits.
Yep. And one other thing, just to add to that, David, for a long time, the Community Foundation was in the simplest of terms, just a grant maker. So it was very transactional. It was like we would get grant requests, we funded, a roof project or, a different program.
Right.
So we've kind of tried to shift that mindset of we're not just a grant maker, but more of a partner for all of our local nonprofits, and also taking on larger, more impactful initiatives that are going to help this community for years to come. So we've got like our neighborhood revitalization work that we're doing, our Cornhill project that I'm sure you've heard a little bit about.
That's a big deal.
And I think Every Gives falls in that category too.
Yeah, I mean, now you kind of kicked off a little bit. All right, so tell me a little bit about the Cornhill project, because you mentioned that we had a little bit of technical difficulty there, but it got cut off. But we're back now, recording again. Yeah, we're back. So
we
tell
did
me
that
about.
On purpose.
I thought you did because you wanted me to spend more time on Cornhill, right?
Exactly.
I was going to do it anyway. All right. So tell me about that project.
So yeah, the Cornhill project, we've been working on this for a number of years. We've heard from nonprofit partners, we've heard from community residents, and just overall that there has been this lack of programming, lack of services, lack of spaces to hold programming in that neighborhood of Cornhill. So we have partnered with People First, Mid-Utica Neighborhood Preservation Corporation, the City of Utica, who else? The Collective Impact Network, also the county a bit.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of this really collaborative effort to bring two what we call impact centers to the Cornhill neighborhood. So there will be one on West Street, one on James Street. Both providing different types of services and opportunities to the neighborhood, and also like some affordable housing as well in both of those centers. So the project, it's been in the works for many, many years, but it's starting to get some legs on it. Things like this do take time.
They do.
We've found. So,
and it's a nice complement to the work that the Johnson Park Center has done in that area as well over 2 decades plus. So
yeah,
right.
And how large is that area landmass? How many blocks is that? Do you know?
All of Cornhill?
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, all right. I was curious.
It's a couple census tracts.
Right.
Yeah. And the amount of investment you guys are involved in, dollar-wise, do you know?
So I believe it's a $75 million project. Yeah,
So-
we've committed, it's a 30-year commitment on our end to make sure that this project thrives and is successful. And obviously, we are leveraging all of the dollars that we have and obtaining, grants and different types of funding to support this project.
Yeah. And it's not to say that everything you do is that size, right? I mean, if you look at your website, you have, small dollar amounts on there. Give me some examples that pop into your head of low end, and we've already talked about high end. Cornhill is probably the top of the line, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of a smaller grant that we've done recently.
Well, I'd say one that I love personally, but it's the Helpful Harvest work that we do. So, a number of food pantries, shelters, and organizations that are helping to bridge the gap in the food insecurity in our communities. Those are a little bit smaller dollars. Obviously, they're not 75 million, although I'm sure we could really do a lot with that. But
I could do a lot with that.
But they're smaller dollar grants that are going to these organizations that are peppered throughout the 2 counties and really working hard to meet that food need.
Okay. So one of the main reasons we wanted to get on here was just not talk about both of you and how you got there and Community Foundation and Cornhill, but something that's coming up, and that's the Mohawk Valley Gives campaign, which I can see you guys are squirming around ready to talk about that.
We're so excited. we are like in knees deep in Every Gives right now. 23 days.
And not like you're counting, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what is Mohawk Valley Gives.
It is an online focused day of giving to benefit any and all of the nonprofits in our Mohawk Valley. It's an opportunity for nonprofits to raise unrestricted dollars for their organizations at no cost to them.
Where did the idea come from? Because this is the third year, correct?
Third year. So we started back in 2022. We were really just looking for, the community foundation was looking for a different way to support the fundraising needs of nonprofits. It also happened to be our 70th anniversary that year. So we were like, what can we do to kick this off with a real cool and unique idea?
And coming out of COVID, it was right around that time when people were starting to, dip the toe in the water of doing social things again. And it felt like there was a need for an engagement opportunity to bring some folks together.
Yep.
So 3 years, that's not a long time to change, but I'm sure it has had changes all along the way. So our nonprofit has participated all 3 years. The first year was kind of like kind of low key, figuring out. How about from your perspective, how has it matured?
Well, we've been surprised every year.
Every year. I think the first year, pleasantly surprised. The first year going into it, it was like almost like we were going in blind because we did not know how the nonprofits were going to react. We didn't know how donors were going to interact with the day. It was new. It didn't have, that brand recognition.
Right.
So we were shocked.
We kept teasing, and we joke in the office about, are we going to have 20, 25 organizations? And then we'd see 25 register. We're like, whoa, okay, wait, 50? It's going to be 50?
So that first year we hit, I think 137 was our number of nonprofits that participated, and ultimately they ended up raising $630,000. So we were like, wow, that's great. Next year we need to try to hit 1 million.
Right.
That was our goal.
I think you slid past that just a hair, didn't you?
Just a hair. Yeah. So 2023, we hit 2.4 million raised.
2.48.
2.48. Okay, so almost 2. We'll say 2.5.
2.5.
Organizations participated, and they just
how many organizations?
255.
255, right?
And I think a lot of that we can attribute to matches and challenges that were put up by great partnerships through Up Mobility Foundation did an incredible match last year. I think it was $1 million for a whole slew of organizations that participated. The StaffWorks Save a Life campaign, which was its own campaign, but is now folded into MV Gives. There was a whole bunch of match and challenge structure there. And also outside donors providing matches to their favorite organizations. So those matches are really what drove that number way up. And I think we're going to see a very similar.
Yes. I mean, we're looking at 324 organizations participating this year.
Wow.
And, who knows? I mean, I think we'll see the 3 million mark is what we're thinking, but who knows after that?
Do you have the same kind of program going with matches and all this year as last year? Because I know I was involved with the Little Falls Youth and Family Center raise, and we came out number 1, girls. So
yes, we are proud to say that we are partnering again with the Up Mobility Foundation. We've actually elevated that partnership, I guess I would say, this year, where they are really serving as a host along with the Community Foundation. And that's, you mentioned what has changed. Well, it's not just the numbers, but our approach with the program overall is to really utilize the platform and the structure that we have in place now to further build the capacities of nonprofits through the program. So using the platform and the tools that we have to continue to offer, trainings that are needed and access to other resources that these nonprofits might need on a daily basis and in their year-round operations, not just for MV Gives.
And give me an idea of what some of those tools that are available. If it's a nonprofit that hasn't participated yet, what are they going to have access to?
Well, so this year we did something a little bit different that we haven't done in past years, and you may have heard about this as a participant yourself. We held on August 8th, Mohawk Valley Gives University. So that was the first event of this kind where all MV Gives participants were invited, and based on if you were a new organization or a returning organization, that's kind of how we filtered you into the classes that we held. So our new participants had like the real down and dirty about the platform, what the Giving Day is about, how to communicate, how to market your organization in the Giving Day.
And the returning organizations were provided classes with more in-depth training. So ways to really look at the first 2 years of their data and use that to work on donor development and stewardship, a communications course that really focused on the professional world of communications and marketing and how they can tell their story, more clearly, more vividly, and then therefore have a better marketing campaign for it. And then also how to engage their board volunteers and members with the larger picture, because the boards are so critical to the work that all of these organizations do. And then we actually also had board members of nonprofit organizations. We invited any organization to extend it to their board members. And when those folks came, we gave them their own area and platform and really talked about how as a board they can either be more engaged, be supportive, serve as like an ambassador, and help their organization launch a solid MV Gives campaign.
What's a good example of how to take what the training you gave, and you have marketing materials available for nonprofits now as well. How would you suggest to them to take all of that and to use it going forward from between now and the 20th? Kind of walk me through what somebody should do, kind of what the deadlines are, because there are different deadlines in there as well, and how that looks.
Yeah, so the deadline that pops into my head immediately is September 1st. Mm-hmm. That's the date that we're aiming to have all of the nonprofits profiles completed. So that lies with the nonprofit organizations. That's the first step, is completing your profile, because that's what you're going to want to share out to the public, essentially. I always say the first step is let people know that you're participating, because sure, they can go to givemv.org, the website, and find you through the search. But if you're on social media, if you're sending emails, if you have a newsletter that you send out, make it known. Even in your board meetings, mm-hmm. Just let everyone that you can know that you're participating in Mohawk Valley Gives. If you have any tabling events or events that you're hosting mm-hmm. At your building, post up a flyer,
Right. And all these, a flyer, an email message, and an e-newsletter piece, we have provided examples and done the writing for everybody. They're available through the platform mm-hmm. that these organizations are using, and there's a nonprofit toolkit actually, in which we encourage them to actually take some of those materials and use them even year round. With a couple of little edits, they can be used for some other e-blast, come spring next year or whatever.
Right. And that's part of what you were teaching people, was that this is not just a one day a week thing. I'm sorry, one day a year thing, but it's a kind of a strategy, year-round strategy to raise funds for a nonprofit, correct?
Absolutely, right. And it offers ways for nonprofits to, do better stewardship with their donors and develop donors that may have been giving to an organization for a handful of years, and this is a new exciting opportunity to sort of level up mm-hmm. and take one of those donors and now have them be a support behind a match program, double their dollars without anything else coming from them,
Right.
So it provides a lot of opportunities for the organizations, not just on the day of, like you say, but really year round.
Okay, so September 1st was your first deadline. What's the next date? Because I know there's another.
Yeah, so, I guess really planning for that strategy of how you're going to communicate with your donors. If you're a participating organization, what's the plan? Are you sending emails that day? Are you making phone calls that day? Are you doing a series of emails leading up to, letting donors know, hey, we're 5 days away.
Right.
So social media, there's got to be, in today's day and age, a campaign behind that. So I think those are the deadlines, is really all outlining through the month of September what you are going to do. In the first year, we gave out calendars, dry erase calendars, so that nonprofit participants could actually write in, like, here's what we're going to do this day, here's what we're going to do this day. We've seen organizations even purchasing billboards.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So like really going big,
Yep.
which it helps. You're not only promoting your organization, you're promoting the entire event. So
Wow. And that could be helpful
really
to everybody, right?
Exactly.
I mean, people
Yeah.
can come into the platform and they can say, hey, I kind of like this thing over here. I was going to give something here, but what about this?
You bring up a fabulous point. So the thing that's really cool about the website is say you want to go on, you want to make a donation to 3 different nonprofits. You don't have to do 3 separate transactions. There's actually like a shopping cart feature that you add all of your donations. So say you want to give 25 to this one, 50 to this one, 100 to this one. You can do that all in one transaction. You will be sent a tax receipt right off the bat for all of those donations, and makes it really simple and almost encourages giving to multiple
Yes,
organizations.
Right.
Nice. What about the first day? If they weren't available the 20th, can they give early? That's what I was teasing you towards.
Yeah.
Yes. So we do have what's considered like an early giving phase. It's kind of a quiet phase, in that we'll open up on September 16, and it runs right through September 22nd. And the reason that it is a sort of quiet phase is because we are thrilled to say we have right around $80,000 worth of prize money that is going to be offered to the nonprofits with a various listing of criteria and parameters, but those parameters and criteria are really based on September 20 itself. So while we want to really encourage the giving to focus on the 20th, we don't want to turn somebody away who, just happens to get onto the website, 2 days before and whatnot. So 16 to the 22nd is the actual open giving time frame online.
Okay. And people, if they're, some of the older people, we saw that last year, wanted to write checks and things like that. There's a way to deal with that as well, too, correct?
There is, that's true. People can still write a check and give it to their favorite organization, and those organizations can enter that information. It's considered an offline donation. But I will say it's important to know that in this point in time, in our day and age now, online giving is actually more secure than checks are these days. The online giving platform that we use for this day, called GiveGab, they work with a third-party transaction processing vendor that is held to literally the highest financial security standards here in the country. And so high, so great actually, that we at the Community Foundation use this vendor ourselves as well. And unfortunately we've seen just generally in the public that there's been a lot of fraud and fraudulent attempts, and especially towards the senior population. So I truly discourage my personal family and friends from doing checks as much as they can now, because all the information's right there at somebody's fingertips. And the online program is really designed to protect and secure not just the money, the donation, but also the information of the donor.
Right.
How do you see the 20th rolling out when you wake up in the morning? Of course, it starts at midnight before you get out of bed, right? Unless you're both up and you stay. But how do you see that day flowing?
So, well, we're gonna let you in. We're gonna let you in on a little secret.
It won't be secret very long. I'm thinking maybe I put this out. Maybe Friday is what I'm thinking. We're recording on, what day is this? Tuesday. Yeah, it's Thursday or Friday. I'll do it before Labor Day because we have that 1 September kind of. All right.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how many people listen to the whole thing.
And
hear the little announcement.
The little tidbit.
Oh,
yeah.
so I'm going to write a note. Tidbit in the middle.
Yep, you're the first to hear.
Right. So we are actually going to be bringing back something that the Community Foundation had done a few years back. Back in 2018, 2019, we did something called the Community Choice Awards, where we went out on our prize patrol bus and delivered big checks to nonprofits. So have that concept in your head, but think MV Gives.
Okay.
That is what we will be doing for a good portion of the day on MV Gives Day, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to be. What kind of checks are you going to be? I'm trying to figure this out. So you're going to be driving to organizations with a big check.
We're going to be visiting and absolutely taking pictures, having fun, giving goodies. I mean, yes, it's going to be a busy but a very fun,
spirited event.
Absolutely, and all supported by Hale Transportation, who is
really
our donor of that program that day, our backer for that, and so watch for the Hale bus.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Of course, there will be some behind the scenes work being done at the community.
I thought you were going to say drinking on the bus, but I didn't know. I didn't know if you wanted to get into that. My address is 25 West Mill Street in Little Falls, just in case you're in the area.
No, but at the same time, Kayla's right. Our offices here on Tennessee Street, serve as our hub, and we do have different activities happening throughout the day because we're updating. We'll get a donor that will call and say, I've been watching this. I want to make a donation from my donor advised fund. We'll get that rolling for them, right in the moment. We'll do some news pieces. We'll do Facebook Live. We've got so many wonderful sponsors from the community that have supported this. They help provide those dollars for that prize pool. And we'll be inviting them to come here and join us at lunchtime and celebrate a little bit. So it'll be an active.
It's going to be a packed day,
fun day.
Oh, wow! When you get to the end of the day, I know earlier you said, "Boy, you'd sure like to hit 3 million." Anything else you're kind of looking to achieve with this?
I think just making sure that all of the organizations benefit from it. I mean, I think that's always, we love to watch that leaderboard and kind of see the organizations all shift, but being able to see that even the ones that are at the bottom have earned something is always just
because I think
fulfilling.
Honestly, I think we've already hit some milestones, and we could call it a success, right now, because through the MV Gives University, for example, the networking that we're seeing the different organizations, engage in it's fantastic. I mean, that day alone brought together 138 organizations. I mean, I don't think there's been another organizational gathering of that size, in the Mohawk Valley. And so right away I could say, well, it's been a success because we've given them tools and opportunities to grow and, develop their own programming. So I think we're on a really positive start.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It can only go up from here.
I won't tell you how many times I hit refresh last year and was complaining when it swapped places a couple of times.
Yep, us too.
There were no bad words used at all. Very competitive. So if people want to find out more, where do you suggest? What are the best spots to go to? Best contacts?
GiveMV.org is the place to go for any information. If you want to see the full listing of all of the organizations that are participating. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, we've got our email address, hello@givemv.org. That goes straight to our team here. We can answer any questions that donors have, nonprofits, anyone who's involved in the big day.
Awesome.
And naturally, if they get to givemv.org and see the list of organizations, anyone can then contact the organizations individually as well and talk about their involvement, and if they want to learn more, they can go directly that way too.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I know it's a stressful day, but it's a fun day. I'll be looking for the bus. I'll have signs out there on the road. Well, I really appreciate your time today. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a few things here. I wasn't able to make the university out of conflict, but I picked up enough here, so I'm good. We're going to run with it.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, thank you, David.
You're welcome. And thank you, everybody, for watching today. We'll see you next time.